What's up, brother? I've got a massive Fresh Friday for you today, so let's just get into it. Ballake Sissoko is the subject of this Fresh Friday. But first, a little story. At the Hilo Shala last weekend after my music class, I saw a guy named Youssoufa Sidibe. He is a Senegalese kora player who comes to the island a lot, and he blew us all away with his incredibly heart-centered kora music. And he was joined by a guy who plays the fiddle named Dr. C, who I've not been able to find online, but I have his phone number, and he's amazing. And he smiled the entire time, and the two of them had this incredible string-based interplay that just melted all of us that were there, and that reminded me of one of my favorite kora players of all time, which brings me to Ballake Sissoko. He's a Malian kora player who's the son of a renowned griot, who's kind of like the head musical elder of a village in West Africa. And so he grew up playing music. He started to play the kora in secret at first because his dad didn't really want him to play, and then the next thing he knew, he was getting really good at it, and he joined the instrumental ensemble of Mali and started to travel the world. And he's done an incredible amount of work by himself, but what's amazing about Ballake Sissoko is his collaborative efforts. Holy crap, I'm going to go through them right now. His world of collaborative music is absolutely mind-blowing. I don't even know where to begin, but I guess we'll start at the beginning. His first collaborative record was with Toumani Diabaté, who you might have heard of. He's an incredibly famous Malian kora player. They released an album in 1999 called New Ancient Strings. Toumani Diabaté happens to be his cousin. So these were two cousins playing an album called New Ancient Strings, which is a reference to an album made by their fathers collaboratively in 1970 called Ancient Strings, which was the very first instrumental kora record ever. Needless to say, this is an incredible record and a really excellent introduction into the kora and the soundscape that is created by this amazing instrument. In fact, I'll just show you a picture of this instrument. It's got so many strings and so much character and sounds like an angel harp from Africa. So another amazing collaboration he then did, this is not in chronological order, but there's a group that is called 3MA. I don't even know what that stands for, to be honest with you. But it's a collaboration with someone that you already know, named Driss El Maloumi, who is the classically trained Moroccan oud master who released the record Makan, which we both love. So it's Ballake, Driss El Maloumi, and Rajer, who is a Malagasy prince of the Vali, which is another string instrument. So we've got Ballake on the kora, Driss on the oud, and Rajer on the vali. And Rajer, by the way, lost all of his fingers in his right hand and still overcame such a disability and is now a virtuoso. They released an album in 2009 called 3MA, self-titled, and their collaborative effort, 3 stringed instruments from 3 different parts of Africa, was so potent and so rich and so textured and layered that they ended up collaborating pretty much every year for the next 10 years until they just released an album last year called Anaruz. Now this music is so phenomenal, so layered and so culturally potent that I couldn't even begin to use more words to describe it. But you have to check it out. 3MA is an incredible collaborative effort from 3 virtuosic string instrument masters. Just unbelievable. He also, Ballake in 2003, which is going a little bit back in time, did a collaborative album with Ludovico Einaudi, who is an Italian pianist and composer who often gets criticized for being a little too accessible and minimalist with his melodies. I happen to love his music, and they released an album called Diario Mali, and it is such beautiful music, really beautiful introduction to hear the piano, the melodic piano with the kora and the interplay. Ballake is really incredible at interweaving his own melodies into whoever he collaborates with. That's a really good one. He also did a few collaborative pieces with an incredible trio I just found out about while researching this video, called Trio Kamirani, which is a father-son's trio of Iranian percussionists. So the dad taught his 2 sons how to play these Iranian percussion instruments, and they are incredible. And they have an album called Trio Kamirani Invite, and then of course they invite all these artists, and that was in 2012. And so I've got a little video clip that I'm going to throw in here. This is them jamming out with Ballake Sissoko and Cuban living legend, pianist, and composer Omar Sosa. But I think the most amazing collaborative experience that he has had is with French cellist Vincent Segal. Oh my god, this guy is so awesome. He has a really weird background of doing some sort of trip-hop cello stuff with this group called Bum Cello that he had in France. But he has also a really interesting, very colored list of collaborative efforts that he has worked with. He's worked with Mathieu Chédid, who now goes by M. He's famous for the song Belleville Rendezvous from the Triplets of Belleville, a song that we love. He also has worked with Cesaria Evora, who is one of the greatest singers of all time, and she's from Capo Verde, and she is... All of these are actually Fresh Fridays unto themselves, but she's amazing. He's worked with Sting, he's worked with Elvis Costello. He actually, interestingly enough, worked with Black Alicious, and he played, Vincent Segal played all the strings on Blazing Arrow from 2002 and The Craft from 2006. We listened to Blazing Arrow all the time growing up. Thank you for listening to that on repeat so that we could enjoy the crap out of that record. And Vincent Segal plays all the strings on it. So he also has a phenomenal collaboration that I have to say as little about as possible because I love Piers Faccini so much that it's going to be a Fresh Friday at some point. Piers Faccini is an English singer-songwriter. Their record, Songs of Lost Time, which as you can imagine is just a collection of all these different songs from different places and times in the world, is so good. Piers Faccini, his voice and his artistry will fill the Nick Drake, Andrew Bird-sized cavern in your soul. It's so good. Holy crap. But what we're here to talk about is Ballake Sissoko and Vincent Segal. Their collaborative effort is one of the most successful cross-cultural collaborations you'll ever hear. They recorded an album called Chamber Music, which was released in 2009, which was a series of compositions that both artists brought to the table, but they also improvised the whole record throughout the record, and it is so good. They recorded it. This is the 6 degrees of separation moment. They recorded it in Studio Mufa, which is the studio in Bamako that is run by Salif Keita, who is an Afro-pop vocalist from Mali who's called the Golden Voice of Mali. And he also collaborated with Bobby McFerrin, who has obviously worked with Rhiannon, who I now work with. So a little 6 degrees of separation action going on there. So that record is amazing. It introduced the world to them, and they made a huge splash with that. And after that, they released absolutely my favorite Ballake Sissoko record. It's his collaboration, him and Vincent, doing Musique de Nuit, night music, which is probably the most played record in our house. We listen to it all the time. It is the first record I put on when I have no idea what to listen to, when I want to feel calm, beautiful, sort of transcendent, otherworldly acoustic string music. It is amazing. It was recorded almost entirely on the top of Ballake's roof of his house in Bamako. So it just has this very sort of live, raw, and really organic feel that is just absolutely stunning. They have a really great Tiny Desk concert, which I'm not allowed to put in this video, so please check that out. They also have a La Blagothèque performance. But this album, Musique de Nuit, holy goodness, it is absolutely amazing. And lastly, Ballake Sissoko, he's also collaborated with Rokia Traore, who you might have heard of. She's also a Malian singer-songwriter and guitarist. Boubacar Traore, who's also a Malian singer-songwriter and guitarist. Worked with Ross Daly, who is a Cretan lira master. He's worked with Taj Mahal, who's an American blues artist. I could go on and on. That is way too much. I've rambled for 10 minutes now, and I use notes, so this is just too much. There's going to be all this video footage. This could be a 20-minute video. I have no idea. But I'm just so happy to share with you the world and splendor and spoils of riches that is Ballake Sissoko. That shit's fresh.